Hey guys, I'm Tracy. Welcome back to Love Your Shelf. I know it has been forever. I have started multiple videos, but I've not put any out recently. My family's going through a lot health-wise, and so it's been really hard for me to get in the studio, and then when I do, I just don't end up editing them. But I recently started watching a booktuber called Books Are Sick, and I don't think he really edits anything. Like, he might cut something out to go grab something, and I was like, I hate editing, so I'm gonna stop doing it. So this is one of the first ones where I'm not editing, which is awesome because I'm not good at it anyway, probably why I hate it. And really this book channel that I made is about talking about books, and I don't need to edit things to do that. I decided that I'm just gonna cut down on some stuff that I've been doing and just talk about books, because that's the point of all of this anyway. So today I'm really excited to talk to you about International Independent Bookstore Day, or National Independent Bookstore Day. I think it's international because Canada also has it, April 27th. I know we're in the middle of May already. I don't even know how that happened, but we are. So April 27th is International Independent Bookstore Day. And I celebrated by doing a book crawl. So last year I did a book crawl as well. It is called South Sound Book Crawl. And what happens is you get a little passport like this, and it has bookstores that you can visit around the area. Last year there was 10, this year there's 11, and I did not make it to all the stores this year. If you do make it to all stores, you get 20% off one time at each place, but these places are all over. Like, you have to cross the Narrows Bridge. They have some on the left portion of Washington State, and they have some on the right portion of Washington State. Over the bay, wherever you go. So I didn't go to all of them this year. Like, again, I'm going through a lot of things, so finding time to visit bookstores when a majority of them are open, a majority of the time I'm at work, didn't really work for me this year. But I did go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the ones on here-ish. And I went to 2 bookstores that weren't on here at all. So that was over a 2-week period. I started with the ones I had not been to before. So let's talk about my book haul and what I got. So the first place I went to is called Clover Daydreams. And I actually met the owner. Her name's Clover. It's inside a retail store, but like reselling. So kind of like a Goodwill, but not. It was of higher quality. But it's a bookstore inside of that. It's called Black Sheep. And in there, I ended up meeting someone, and we were talking, and she got the first book, the Robot and Monk books by Becky Chambers, which is a song for the Wild Built. And she was like, I'm going to get this book because I love it, and it's right next to 2 other 5-star books. And I was like, oh, what are the other 5-star books next to it? Because I also love that book. So I was like, oh, do we have the same taste, you know? And she said, A Parable of the Sower and A Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. And A Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler is my only 5-star read of the year. It isn't now, but it was at the time. So I was really excited, and I'm like, dude, we have the same taste. And then while I was looking at books, I picked up My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I potentially said that wrong, but I tried. And the same person said that it's really good. So I'm excited to start this. It says, Corita's sister Ayula is many things. The favorite child, the beautiful one, possibly sociopathic. And now Ayula's 3rd boyfriend in a row is dead, stabbed through the heart with Ayula's knife. So that sounds very interesting, and someone recommended it that I met. And then while I went to check it out, the owner of the bookstore said the person I was talking to, their name is Render, and they made multiple books that they were selling there. So this one is called Sigil Phoenix, and it has really gorgeous drawings that Render also did. And so I got that as well, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So I already messed up because I was supposed to only buy 1 book per bookstore, and I was at 2 in the first bookstore, so didn't go great. The next place that I went to, I had been before, but not for the book crawl last year. I've just been independently, and that was King's Books. And since I'd already bought more than one book, when I went to Clover Daydreams, I bought 3 books. So that's a lie. I bought 2 books. But actually I don't have one of them here, so let me go get it. Okay, I'm back. So I bought 2 books at King's Books. And the first one is The Prospect by K.T. Hoffman, which I'm super excited about. It's about 2 guys that play baseball and fall in love. And I've been really wanting a baseball book. So I'm super stoked about this. And while I was there, one of the bookstore personnel, said that another person that works at the store said that this was really good, but they also said that this book is really good, which is It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anna DeMarkin. And that's the other book that I was looking at because it's gorgeous. It has a crow in it. I love crows, or ravens either. So I also got this book, and I've already read this book, and it is incredible. So I just want to read you something that it says. So it's about a zombie who's like getting over, she's learning how to live as a zombie, but also she's grieving. And it says, It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over, asks how much of yourself can you lose before you are lost, and then what happens. And it's honestly just such a gorgeous story about loneliness and grief. And it starts with, actually, let's do that. It starts with, I lost my left arm today. It came off clean at the shoulder. So, like, her body is decaying because she is a zombie. And she ends up finding a crow. And I'm not going to tell you all of it, but it talks a lot about her missing someone. And it says, when did this start? What is the beginning of something that is not a story? There's only the place I always return to in my mind. Because we are so small together in the vast expanse, so small together in the lee of the dune, beneath the sky, within the sound of the ocean and the warmth of the sun, we are more together than we have ever been or ever will be again. This is the very best moment we will ever share. It is a better end than beginning. It was the end, but we did not know it then. You do not know the end has happened until later, or you do not admit it. Looking back, you can see it, and you realize that all the time after that was just an effort to keep going as if it weren't already over. I was a zombie even then, ravenous eater of a world that was already the last of its kind. Holy shit. Like, I just love this book. It is really close to a 5 for me, but it was not. And I keep thinking about it though. Like, the end like blows my mind. Everything about this book is really good. I think that there's a part in the middle that was just a little slow, and that's the only reason why I couldn't give this a 5, but it's just riddled with an amazing story and a lot of like hauntingly gorgeous prose. So I got that book as well. And then they were also giving away 3 free books that were like the uncorrected proofs. And so I ended up getting, because Bridgerton's coming back, actually it's back now, but it wasn't at the time, Bridgerton was coming back. I got Don't Want You Like a Best Friend, which is about 2 girls, one in her first season and one in her 3rd or 4th, and they end up obviously not wanting each other as friends. So I'm excited about that one too. So those are the first 2 places that I went. And then the rest of these may or may not be in order because it has been a while. So we'll see. I don't remember where I went next, but oh yeah, I think I do. So the next place I went isn't on the list. It is a bookstore in Port Townsend, whose name I'm unfamiliar with right now, but it looks like a small storefront and it's huge. Like, it just goes and goes. And actually that wasn't the next place, but that's okay. I'll circle back. So we'll talk about this place in Port Townsend, which was the 4th place I visited. That wasn't on the list. The 3rd place, also not on the list. But I got 2 books from there. I got Earthsea the first four books by Ursula Le Guin. I've read Ursula Le Guin before. I just finished the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin, and that may or may not be similar, but Earthsea kind of seems to have a similar vibe, and I love water, so like Broken Earth is about Earth, but this is about the Earth and Sea question mark. So I've read Ursula Le Guin before, and I wasn't that into her, but I want to be, so I'm gonna try something else and see if it happens. And then I also got the Book of Memory, which is about someone who is convicted of murder for her adopted father. And I don't like, it was on the sale rack. I love discounted sale books because the more money I save, the more books I get to have. So I'm trying this and we'll see how it goes. So I'm excited about that as well. So circling back, the third bookstore I actually went to is also in Tacoma by the Tacoma Dome. And it is, my friend like had went there the same day I started doing this, and she said it is organized chaos. It's like awesomely claustrophobic, so I couldn't not go. And I ended up getting The Cave by Jose Saramago. So I've read 2 books this year that mentions Jose Saramago, specifically Interruptions with Death, but I haven't found that book. So I did find The Cave, and I had never seen a Saramago book out anywhere since I read these 2 books I read this year that are totally different. Like, one's nonfiction about a bookstore, and the other is fiction about like reincarnation, Romeo and Juliet. So they're totally different books. They mention the same book, and now I want to read Saramago like nobody's business. So I do have The Cave, but I can't decide if I want to start with this or if I'm going to hold out for Interruptions with Death. So we'll see. Then I went to Port Orchard. So my sister's 50th birthday, we went to Port Townsend, and then on the way back, she very politely stopped by Port Orchard. Her and her husband and a daughter stopped by Port Orchard for me to go to a few bookstores that were on the list. So the first place we went is Find the Path Books, which I had never been to. It's brand new. It's super cute. It has like a tree in it. It gives off super fairy vibes. I was pretty stoked about it. And I got A Journey to the Center of the Earth. So I've read Around the World in 80 Days. And so I decided that I wanted to read A Journey to the Center of the Earth as well. And it was discounted. So I was like, yes, this is the book I'm getting. And then right across the street from that is Salmonberry Books. So this Salmonberry Books is the first place that I hit up that I also hit up last year at this time in this book crawl. So last year I read... Last year, from Salmonberry, I read The Rock Eaters by Brenda Paynato, which is short stories that are kind of depressing and demented and dark, but they're all really good. And so the owner, I'm pretty sure she's the owner of the store. She was there last time too. She was there, and I said, I did the book crawl last year. This is the book that I got. What do you recommend? Which I hadn't got to do yet, so I was super stoked about that. And she recommended 3 books, and I got 2 of them. So the first one is Friday Black, which is a collection of short stories by Nana Kwame Aji Brenya. I probably said that wrong. I'm so sorry. It is the same author who wrote Chain Gang All-Stars, which I haven't read yet, but that has been blowing up. And she said that this has a lot of racism, political stuff, but it's also very dark. And then she also said that I should get I'm Fine, But You Appear to Be Sinking. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I might be fine or I might appear to be sinking. And this is written by someone in Spokane, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from where I am. Like, half of the people I work with work in Spokane. And it's a pretty cool cover. I might have covered it up. It's by Elena Crow. But it has like a little astronaut looking guy here. It has like a kind of 70s vibe. And then you have like a kraken out and about in the ocean. So I'm pretty excited about this book as well. We'll see what happens there. And then I went to a good book. No, I don't think so. I think I did a good book last, which is awesome. So I Actually, what's really cool is last year I did the book crawl with one person and we hit up all the bookstores in one day, and it was freaking awesome because she's amazing. And this time I went on different days with different people. There was only one day I went alone, and I had different people every other time. So the next place that I went was in downtown Olympia. So I went to Browsers, which is the cutest little bookstore. I'm in love with it. It's downtown. It's been there since 1937. They have a ton of staff picks all over. Last year I did a video where a staffer named Alex picked a bunch of my books. And I chose him because, or her, I chose them because they had read Iron Widow, which I've read and loved. And so I was like, oh, well, if they recommend Iron Widow, we probably have the same sort of books that we like. And he hasn't disappointed me yet. Although, or she, Alex, my bad, hasn't disappointed me yet. Although I am struggling with If on a Winter's Night, A Traveler by Italo Calvino, which oddly is mentioned in this book. So it sounds like a really good premise, and I really want to get into this book, but every time I start reading it, like something else catches my eye. So that was one of the book picks from last year that I did, and I haven't finished it. But I'm sure once I do, it will be good. Like, I have faith. It just hasn't happened. So I went to Browsers, and also, side note, one other time I was in Browsers, it was pouring down rain, and they have like glass ceilings, and it sounded incredible. So anyway, Browsers has a special place in my heart. My husband went with me to Browsers. He has been looking at this book called How to Be Eaten, by Maria Edelman, I guess that's better, which is about like fairy tale women. So Ruby, which is Little Red Riding Hood, and Gretel from Hansel and Gretel, they're all in a little group, support group, and like to process their traumas is what it says. And that's very interesting. So I'm interested in this book. He has seen it and looked at it a million times for me. And finally I was like, dude, this should be part of it, that I'm getting books that other people think I should get too. Last year I did get a book that someone recommended to me. The person that I went with last year recommended to me too. So it was perfect. So I got How to Be Eaten. And then I also went to Orca's Books. And at Orca's Books, I was feeling uninspired, probably just where I was. I had been to so many bookstores, and Orca's Books is really good, but it provides something different. It has a pretty older collection. They do have some new books, but it is more used books, so it was harder to find something there. And then I found a treasure, which is amazing. So I found Oak Flat, A Fight for Sacred Land in the American West. Now, I've read this book via Audible. This is by Lauren Redness, but I didn't expect this book to be so flipping gorgeous. So it is absolutely stunning. It has pictures throughout, and drawings, and I am in love with it. So this book was $30, which I legit just talked about a $3 book. I'm super about thrift shopping, but I could not say no to this. This was a 4-star book for me when I read it, and I bet the Audible version is amazing, but I'm going to reread it this way and go through this book because it's going to be incredible too. It's going to be a whole new experience, so I'm really excited for that. And then the last place I went was A Good Book in Sumner. So my mom used to own a restaurant in Sumner. A Good Book is 100% where I was most of the time if I didn't have to work or it wasn't sunny outside, which it's Washington, so that happened pretty often. If I wasn't at the park and I wasn't at my mom's restaurant, I was in A Good Book. And A Good Book has expanded. It's bigger now, which is amazing. So I went with a friend, and we had the blind date with a book, we read through those. So the book that I got in my blind date with a book was listed. Oops, sorry. It was listed as sci-fi, and it was listed as extraterrestrial espionage with sex, violence, and Nazis. That was my blind date with a book. And so I was like, that sounds weird as fuck, and I'm about it. So it ended up being Gestapo Mars by Victor Gischler, which really, really sounds like nothing I would ever read. So I'm pretty leery about this, but I want to give it a shot and see what happens. So once I do, you will be the first to know how Gestapo Mars turned out for me. And then, not on the blonde date side, I also got the phone book At the Edge of the World. The cover looks beautiful. It's giving me Japanese vibes for sure. And me and my husband are watching Shogun right now, so Shogun's like war, and this is stunning and calm looking. But it is by Laura Ime Messina, I believe. And it's about someone who loses their mother and daughter in a tsunami. And so I'm excited to read this book too. I know that's what I said. Hey, these are the books. I'm excited to read them. But I have read 2 of these. They are amazing. Oak Flat is going to give me a different perspective when I reread it that way. And I am just really excited about the books. Side note, please support your local bookstores. They all have amazing things to offer. I love independent bookstores, and I frequent them. I did not get to go to one of my other favorite bookstores for this specifically, but I had just been there like a month before. So I do hope I get to go sometime next month and get some stuff. And that's High Voltage Books in Tacoma. I want to shout out for them too. So yeah, that is my book crawl. Those are the books I bought in celebration of Independent Bookstore Day. What kind of things did anyone else, I don't know how to end these, which is fine. But if you ended up getting a book at an independent bookstore for Independent Bookstore Day, what'd you end up getting? And have you read it? Do you like it? I'm interested. Have you read any of these books that I read? And do you like them? Or any books that I talked about that you think sound interesting? I want to hear about it. I want to talk about books with you. So thank you so much for coming. My name is Tracy. This is Love Your Shelf. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.